Hello, I am Lorna Watkins, and you're very welcome to my studio here in Sligo. I am a painter and I also draw and I do printmaking as well. So, this is an example of my work here behind me. I am very lucky in that I've exhibited around the world and I've got to go on residencies around the world as well. So I'm hoping to bring a bit of that knowledge to you and how art can really open up a wonderful way of relaxing and just switching off the stress from the everyday. So I don't want you to get overwhelmed as well when I say art. It's really just think of it as a way of playing, making a time for yourself to relax and just forget everything that's gone on in the day or the past week, and a way to switch off and really just become present in the moment. Um, so I'd love you to make a space for your creative work and for your creative time. I'd love you to make it welcoming. Make sure it's warm, that you have a comfortable chair. Even if it's on the kitchen table, because it's unlikely you're going to have a studio space, unless you're very lucky. Even if it's on the kitchen table, maybe just get a box, one of those storage boxes, and put all your stuff into it. So then when you need to get your things out, they're all ready and it's easy to get at. So to kind of start off your creative time for yourself, I always like to start with a ritual, and that's the ritual of burning a candle and some incense and some essential oils as well, just to have them around. So I'm going to light. So you can do this now as well. So you're marking it as your time. I also have some incense here. So if you're just going to close your eyes and just kind of go into yourself. And you can listen to the sounds around. I can hear the birds outside. I can hear the traffic on the road. And just clear your mind of everything that's happened today so far. And be grateful for this time for you. Okay. So it's great to kind of center yourself. Get ready before you start making anything. It's great to just take a few minutes, do some breath work maybe, because it's very hard to just launch in from a busy day into a creative space in your brain. So that's how I like to start. So what I would like you to do is, if you have any kind of a notebook in the house, any kind, I'll just show you. I have a collection here. Now, this is a nice new one. I have a moleskin, so you can get them in Eason's if they open up, but I got them online. So what size is that? I think it's about A4. So that's a plain one, but you might like ones with lines in it. This is actually a kid's, the maths books. I just love the big squares. Really nice. So I've made my own cover with paint chips. I've had this notebook for ages. I just like these are obviously empty, haven't got to them yet. Made these covers as well. It's just a cheap notebook I got. So other things you can do as well is, if you have books that you don't like anymore or you're not using. Hold on now. This is a kid's book I'd lying around the place, so my kids had finished with it. So what you can do is you can trash it basically. You can cover it in paint and collage. Collage is sticking paper onto other paper. That's all it is. So it becomes something else there. That's called an altered book. You can do that with fiction. If you finish reading some novels, or an encyclopedia would be fantastic. You have a set of encyclopedias. They're great. I've all sorts of shapes and sizes of notebooks. These are cheap ones. These ones I get them in TK Maxx. I'm always on the lookout for notebooks. This is more expensive one. The paper is really good in this. It's got a heavier weight, so it holds quite a lot of paint. So I got that in an art shop. I think I got this one in Mr. Price. It's quite cheap. The paper, and that's quite good actually. But it was quite a cheap notebook. So lots of small-ish. I call these smallish ones, and that's very small. So that's good for handbag size. These are also good bag size ones, because I take them when I'm out and about, and that's kind of the point of a notebook. It's when you're out and about, you can record. So that's what you're doing. You're going to be recording what's in here, what you're seeing, what you're hearing, what you're tasting, all your senses. You're using your senses. And with a notebook, you can record, and even if it's stressful stuff, it's great to get it down. So it's basically a visual diary. So I'm just going to show you some of my sketchbooks, what I do in them. So I would actually write a lot. So if you are a diary keeper, it's very similar. I mean, I would write actually a lot in my notebooks. Like here, if this is when I was in New York, I was visiting a gallery, so I'm writing about painting that I liked, and then these are drawings that I did. These are all the telegraph pole wires. So obviously, it's just an impression. It's not, because I'm only there. I think I probably did this on the subway. So like it's fleeting. So it's like, how do you describe something jumbly wires really quick? They're quick sketches of people. This is playing with wax. More writing. So I see in my notebooks I have a lot of writing. Sometimes I write down poems I might hear or songs. These are my kids playing in the garden with the dog. These are rubbings. Rubbings are great. Do you remember you did them when you were kids? I remember in school you get a crayon and a piece of paper and you rub a tree bark. So that's what I was doing there. I like to do a lot of rubbings. So it's that thinking back to what did you do as a child? Were there any those simple things like even potato printing? That's great crack to do. That's one notebook. Oops. This is one I did of bog cotton. Do I have the bog cotton? No, I don't. When I was in Mayo last year. So that's charcoal and then just rubbed away with a rubber. Really quick thing to draw because it was a very windy day and I was going to be blown away otherwise. This was a trip to Iceland, so I just had a marker with me because I didn't want to bring a load of stuff with me. So when I look at this, I mean, it probably doesn't look like anything to you. I remember where I was, what I was doing. And it's just scribbles, but it was just a really joyful way of expressing the craziness of the landscape. So markers are brilliant. You just have markers. You're laughing. And then what have I got here? Bubbling, boiling mud. So that's what that is. So for me, these are ways, obviously, to inform compositions for paintings. And it could be years later. I might look at this and go, oh, yeah, that's really helpful. Or not. Sometimes it's just a way of processing stuff. And that's what it is for you. It's just a way of processing. And you just get into the moment and it's just brilliant. So like the time passes like that. So if you have any kind of a notebook, or even if you don't, if you just have pieces of computer paper, like these are all I've written on, I recycle them. You can fold them in half. And then I'll do it properly afterwards and I'll show you how you can make your own notebook. So maybe get yourself some paper and a notebook and I'll be back to you. Hi, I'm back to you. I've got my uniform on, so I'm ready for action. So hopefully you've got a sketchbook or a notebook. Sorry, I shouldn't have said sketchbook. We haven't gone up to sketchbooks yet. Or even a bit of paper. So this is what I was telling you before about, this is just some computer printer paper. So I've just literally folded it into 4. I had to roll up the back one so it's a bit squashed, but it doesn't matter. I put 3 staples in it. So you could make a whole book like that, or also if you had a needle and thread, you could stitch it as well. So that's a handy little thing if you don't have a notebook in the house. So don't use not having a notebook as an excuse not to get started. Critical. Don't put off what you don't need to put off. So what we're going to do first is we're going to draw a mug. So anything at all you have at home, get that out. I have some tea in it still, so that's handy. I could be drinking my tea as well as drawing the mug. And just before we start that, I just want to show you, this is kind of my kit that I would bring with me. So it's just a leftover biscuit box, which is kind of handy. I have Pritt stick in it and a scissors. I can get it out. Some Posca markers. They're used in illustration, but they're basically posh Sharpie markers. So you can get them in an art shop. Some Sharpies. I love these Uniball pens. They're really nice. This is, I got this on Amazon. It's a Japanese calligraphy pen, but it's a inky one with a big thick brush. It's lovely. Big lump of graphite. That's really lovely. Again, everything's really lovely. Some rubbers. I have lots of little bits of charcoal. Charcoal is a brilliant thing to draw with. Just a biro, pencil, retractable pencil, some more markers, cheap little paintbrush. And there again, that's a thicker piece of charcoal. Some white chalk, or crayon, I should say. Another pencil, and these are uni pin fine lines. They're really nice. This is a brush. You can put water in it, so it's kind of like having a ready-made. It's kind of for doing watercolors really, but it's brilliant if you just want to put a blob of water onto a page like that. So that's kind of the bare essentials really. But failing all that, I'm sure you have a biro and some pencils lying around the house. So we'll start with that, okay? Or a marker. I think I started with the marker as well. Okay, so these are just really basic, quick. Quick is the name of the game here. We're not spending 3 years on this. This is just to get a basic shape, get some marks down on the page. Don't be afraid about dirtying your first page. If you don't like, some people get really freaked out about working on the first page. So just turn the page, get on the second page, and just start doing some drawings. Now for these drawings, it's called blind drawing, and it is like, as it says on the tin, you can close your eyes if you want, because we all know the shape of a mug. So you can do that if you want, or how I did it was, you just look at the mug and don't look at your page. So let's do that now, will we? So we'll turn the page. And I feel like using a red marker. So whatever you're drawn to, if you feel like a pencil, go for it. Okay, so you can hold the mug in your hand and literally just really quick. Don't dare look at your page. So just keep moving your hand. Look over the object. And it doesn't matter if you go off the page. You're just literally, it's like taking a line for a walk. So there's my one. So great, you've done your first drawing. Wasn't that brilliant? Easy peasy. So what you can do then is to repeat that using different media. You can even draw on top of these ones. I'll do that again. So I'm looking at the cup here, and so obviously if you're looking down, it's at a different angle than if you're holding it up like that. But don't stress about perspective or anything like that. It's just about being in the moment. You're taking time to look at the shape of the object, to feel what the biro is interesting. Actually, it's much smoother on the page because I don't know if you picked up the sound of it was really scratchy. Where it was kind of nice but irritating at the same time. So every material has their own feeling and sensation, and that's all part of it, to be aware of it. So you can cover the whole page with the whole thing a little. And like, see the way I've run over, I didn't just keep it, I ran over the spine, so it's running into this page as well. So that's great. So that's called blind drawings. So that's a great one to have in your arsenal, and it's a really brilliant one for loosening up, for not worrying about, am I getting the shape right? Am I doing it right? It doesn't matter, because the main thing you're doing right is you're looking at the object. If you can look, you're doing it right, and you're moving your hand across the page. So you're on to a winner. The next one that I do is, I like this one. The left, if I'm right-handed, so I'm going to use my left hand. So your non-dominant hand, okay? So what will I use? I'm going to use a pencil. Which one is this? HB, yeah, that's grand. It's covered in paint, but anyway, it'll do. So I'll lift it up and hold it this time. So left hand, so you're holding, can you see my hand, or you can see my pencil? So you're holding it, your pencil, kind of awkwardly, because it's not normally the way you're used to. Same thing, look at the object, not really at the page. So you to kind of scoop the pencil around to get the outline of the mug. There we go. So very different marks, kind of wobbly, but still they're very confident in a way. That kind of went off a bit, but I quite like them. It's very different working with the left hand. I really love it. It's brilliant. I'm going to try it again with the marker. I might do a small one this time as well. You can play with scale, do big ones and teeny tiny ones. See how that works. So. Oh, he's kind of cute. Okay. I paint a lot with my left hand. Sometimes if I'm stuck in a painting, I would use so you're literally turning over to the other side of your brain. It's great. And I have been known to paint with my feet as well. It's brilliant. So if you feel like doing that, knock yourself out. Another thing I'm going to show you. You can draw with two hands together at the same time. So this is great crack. So you've got your mug. Okay. Rest him there. So I'm going to go up and down. I'm still looking at the object. When you're drawing and painting, you're really looking at the thing, the object, the landscape 90% of the time, and you're only looking at your page or your easel other 10%. They're great energy in those marks. Love that. That's really cool. That'll look great as well if you had different colours. So if you had different coloured markers or colouring pencils, if you had them knocking about the house. Let me see. I'll do a pinky and a green. Okay. So you're using your whole body. You see the way it's kind of like a dance. And that's really, look at that, great energy. Drawing and painting, it is a dance. You're not inside yourself. You're just being in the moment, and it's fantastic. So before you know it, you've got, how many have we got? We got 3 pages filled. just like that. Super easy, super fast. Like I say, it doesn't have to, you don't have to set aside 2 hours to do this, you know, because I think if you kind of say, oh, I'm gonna have to do 2 hours, you'll never do it. Whereas if you kind of know, oh, I could fill a few pages of my sketchbook today, and like in 5-10 minutes, you can have quite a lot of work done, and it just gives you such joy, and you get great energy from it. Okay, I'm gonna find the lid. Maybe I won't find it later. There it is. Okay, so what I wanted to show you now was, I'm looking at my notes here. What else have I got? Oh yes, household items. This can be great fun. So we'll put away our normal stuff. We'll call this is kind of like your office equipment, okay? So now we're going on to household things. Or even stuff, if you have a garden, you might have some plants. Like I have this huge, I think it's a flax plant, and I have bamboo as well. So I if you cut them, they dry out really quick, but these make brilliant sticks for drawing. Now you're looking at me thinking I'm mad. This is great. You get really good marks. So I'll show you that in a minute. Netting, stuff that your veg or fruit. This is avocado netting. This is just kitchen roll. So you can roll it to make a mark, and then I have rags stuck in it, and there's a bit of stick here, and more netting. So this is kind of like a giant pencil of madness. Oh, great crack as well. What else have I got? I pick up things when I go on a walk. So as I'm near the sea here, there's usually quite a lot of stuff washed up. So this is a rope, probably from a fishing boat. So I use this to draw as well, to make nice marks. Also, brilliant toilet brush. Obviously a clean one. Bottle brushes are really good as well. Pot scrubs, all that kind of stuff. Stuff that you'd have a shower with, you know, those kind of loofah things. Anything in the house, you can repurpose it. Candle, I'm going to show you what to do with that as well in a minute. And I've got some coffee and some tea bags. So, where's the Pritt stick? I'll just show you the Pritt stick first. So you can use this to draw. So we'll stick with the mug, okay? So I'll do this with my right hand now for a change. And feel free to change the direction of your book as well. I'm going to use it that way, portrait. So I'm drawing just the outline with the Pritt stick. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, so I've drawn, so it's kind of hard to see, but anyway, you get the gist. Just draw the outline really quickly. And then I'm going to use coffee just to sprinkle over it. Then, et voila. Isn't that gorgeous? How simple is that? Really beautiful. I love that. And then you can get a pencil if you want, or you don't. I quite like it like that. But you can draw then a black line kind of around it. See that? Cool. The other thing you can do with coffee, this is quite nice coffee. I shouldn't be doing this. I'll be shot. So I've kept some in there. Now I've got a jar of water and a really cheap paintbrush. But if you don't have a paintbrush, just use your fingers. It's fine. So I'm literally making up a paste. So you're making up a little pot of paint. So I'll turn the page and I'm going to show you the candle. Whoops. So it's similar effect when you, then as like drawing with the Pritt stick. So same thing, draw an outline of the cup really quick. And you've got your coffee. Is it coming out? It should resist it. Yeah. Simple, isn't it? Simple and effective idea. You can also melt your candle. It's a bit trickier, more of a safety hazard, but you can melt it and kind of drip with it when it's wet, which is nice too, but I won't do that for the purposes of this video. Now I'm going to sprinkle some of the leftover coffee onto this when it's still a bit wet. It's kind of nice. You can just to get a different effect. Make it a bit darker, make the colour darker there. So same thing you can do with your tea bags. Lots of people, not lots of people, some people, they use tea bags for collage. So I've got all my tea now in my hand. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to stick down the tea bag onto the page. So as you can see, this is playing. We are playing big time here. Now, tea makes a nice light brown colour, as you can imagine. So you can wait for this page to dry, and you can come back and draw on that. So you've got nice layers. So you're getting depth and texture and interesting things happening on the page. Lots of people like to use text. So maybe you had a dream or something, or maybe there's a word that's just in your head and you could put that on the page somehow. Maybe cut letters out of a magazine or a newspaper and stick them on. Or if you had little stamps with the alphabet, you could do that too. I was having a dream, or a series of dreams, about a bear. So that's kind of what I had in this book. This is the children's book I was telling you about. So that's Pieces of Magazine, and that's the original book behind, and that's with a bit of a medical book stuck over it. So I drew a really basic shape of a bear. I mean, it's not anatomically correct, you can be sure about that. But I was getting it out and working. So I'm going to put something here, don't know yet. But it's been like that for a while. But it's a great way of getting things out of your head. Now, we've got all our coffee and our tea. So now, this is the nice brown washy water I've got from the coffee and the tea. I might throw some more tea into that actually. So if you leave that overnight as well, it strengthens. It's nice for painting it. So it's great if you don't have any paint, and if you're thinking, oh, look, I'll never do this, or I can't do it without real paint. But you can. You actually can. Okay. Now, what am I going to show you next? I actually need real paint for the next phase of the operation. I'm looking at my time here. So I don't know if you remember, but these are the three primary colours: blue, red and yellow. So with these three colours you can make any combination of colours. So you don't need, if you decide to go out and buy paints, you don't need 50 million paint tubes, even though I do, but you really don't. Or even if you have 3 types of red, 3 types of yellow, 3 types of blue, you're sorted. So I'll just get some red. So these are acrylics. So acrylics dry really fast. They're brilliant for when you're working on paper. Acrylics used to be really bad quality, and they kind of had a bad name, but they're brilliant now. So the main thing to remember with acrylics is they're polymers, as in plastics. So you have to wash your brushes after you use them carefully, because otherwise your brushes just dry out and they get wasted. Now, the netting, that's what I was going to say. So I'm just going to scrunch this up as one way of using it. So I'm dipping it. So I have a tin. This is a recycled, I think there was meat in it or something. Anyway, wash it out. Squeeze your thing in. So this is your palette effectively. Dip that in. So we're using this now to draw with. Oops. So now that's one side, that's one mark. So the paint has run out, it's run dry. So I'll dip it back in. I'll draw the other side. See the way I'm moving my whole arm. You're not just working from the wrist. Normally I don't sit down when I'm drawing or painting. I'm always standing up, but you're really using your whole body. Okay. So there's more really juicy, expressive marks. So I've exaggerated the handle there. Not on purpose, that's just the way it happened. But I kind of like it. And another thing you can do, if you ever see these anywhere, these are great. It's a roller for printmaking. So you just roll the ink or paint. Oh, it's very noisy. So it's on that. Should be more even, but anyway, you get the idea. So you lay out your net, or any kind of texture that you might have. Okay, that didn't come out right. But anyway, you've got a vague texture. I'm just going to roll it actually without the net onto the page. And it makes the texture itself. Okay, so that's it rolled out. So now I'm going to maybe get some blue. Throw that down there. Okay, I'm gonna make some purple. So blue and red makes purple. Except I've quite a lot of blue there. Will do for the job anyway. All right, so I'm gonna get my big brush. Draw again. So you're scooping, you're smearing, you're doing all those juicy things. So I didn't even bother putting the handle in there. You can come back then with your pen and you can use it. So normally, obviously, when you're writing, you hold it like this, but use it like this. Use it more like when you're painting, you should actually hold a paintbrush like this, like a magic wand. That's how I was taught in college. So you can use it like this to get a nice line. See that there? You can get some baby wipes or a rag, and you can just wipe into it if you want. Just see what happens there. That's quite nice, actually. When you remove things, when you remove paint, you leave a nice stain. So you get that nice color there that wouldn't have been there otherwise. So I like it. So basically, you can see really this is just a starting point, and then it gets legs. And you can go 5 million ways with it, really, with very few things. You know, all you need is some paper and just to give yourself permission and time to sit down and enjoy yourself. And, you know, start looking at things, looking at objects you might have around the house in a different way. Like, just for example, my stapler just happens to be here. And, you know, like what happens if you just make a row of staples like that? You know, you can do it on a loose piece of paper better. You know, like a pattern of that. What does that look like? What happens then? Or, you know, a hole puncher. You punch a whole piece of paper, chop it out into the shape of a mug, collage that on. Or like I'll do this. This is some greaseproof paper with some white paint on it. I don't know why it was like that, but we'll take advantage of it at this moment. Get your scissors. And I'm just going to cut out the mug shape. Really loosely. So still looking at the mug. Kind of looks like an ear. So I might position it on this page. I might say, oh, I quite like it there. Maybe I'll stick it there. I don't know. Or maybe I'll stick it there. Oh, I quite like it like that. So you're making some decisions, some creative decisions about where something goes, where you feel it looks better. And of course you might have it on and just go, oh no, that looks terrible. And then just whip it off, because it doesn't matter. You're just experimenting, you're having fun. Oh my God, you actually don't like that bit. Throw him off. Then you can go, not so sure about that. Let's dig into him a bit there. Let's get the markers out. No, it's terrible. You might go over it with your tea. Yeah, because maybe it's just too white. Maybe that's what it is. Sometimes you know it's just not right. You just have to play with it. Now just put a load of more blue on it. Then we just might even rip it off again. Leave bits of it on. Yeah, you see, that's even better now. I'll show you. Because we've got the texture of something that was there, but it's gone now. See? On it goes. So keep asking yourself, what if I do this? What if I do that? What happens if? So you're using a different part of your brain than you might use normally. It's very exciting, and just be really open to suggestions, things that might occur to you as you're playing, as you're making. And only good can come from it. Hi, so I hope you enjoyed that time making. It could be the first time you've done anything like that in years, and it's special. So, you know, just remember how it's made you feel, and hold that feeling to carry you through, so that you repeat it and maybe hopefully make a ritual of it, and that it becomes a practice, a creative practice in your life. So I'm just going to recap quickly what we went through. So I talked about the importance of making a space for yourself. So it's just for you. Creating a ritual around this creativity time by lighting candles and linking it to other senses, such as smell, essential oils, incense, Then I got you to get paper, either to make a notebook or to get a notebook that you might have already around the house. So we worked on that. And then I went through some basic equipment that you'd have in the house and some that maybe you could get in the future if you were interested. So obviously anything that I talked to you today that you did in the notebook, you can do this on big sheets of paper. When the DIY shops are open again, rolls of wallpaper lining are brilliant for drawing on. They're really thick and heavy and they're great to use. So if you have room and if you feel like working big, go for it. They're great. Oh, excuse me. So I think that's it really. I really enjoyed talking to you, and I'd like to thank you for your patience. And I'd also like to thank Yasmina at the Wellness Circle for inviting me to give this talk and this journey in creativity. And there's one book I'd like to suggest if you'd want to learn any more or kind of to further your practice. And it's called The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. And she talks about keeping a journal, writing 3 pages freehand every morning, and having an artist's date with yourself. So that's like going to a charity shop, or could be going to the cinema or whatever. Obviously, these things are a bit more difficult these days, but it's basically about making time for yourself, for your creativity, and it's really, really good for you. Really, really good. So thank you very much.